It's a beautiful day in the Negrohood, a beautiful day to be Negroes. Could you be mine?
I can't say that word.
You can say Negro.
I can't say that word. I'm too white.
You can't even
Too
say
white for that.
Can you say homie?
Yes.
Would you be my homie?
Yeah, I'm your homie.
Chat, would you be my homie? Chat, be my homie. Welcome back. It's another day, a beautiful day under the red Ubi-Sun. God, that'd be a fucking horrible world.
It would be the most, like, depressing and existential crisis world I've ever been in.
You think you niggas have seen me lose my mind? Gay one and Gay Pass. Wait until you here. Get it 3 days early with Ubisoft Plus.
I will go absolutely batshit insane.
Don't own a single fucking game to your name. Have to keep paying money to a subscribed service, and the second you motherfuckers lapse 30 days, it's gone.
And we'll do the whole callback of Gay one that GPS.
Piracy
literally what it would be.
Piracy is not supposed to be something that is very easy to justify when it comes to this kind of marketplace, even as dog shit as things are. But honestly, every day, I keep getting closer, pulling faster than Louis Rossman. He's quite literally becoming all of us, because every single time we hear about Ubisoft doing something, they're fucking up something to do with one of their game properties that are being licensed to them from the movie, which in this case would be Indiana Jones. They're making some dog shit claim, or someone, a part of their offices, is making some stupid fucking talking point to try and save themselves from the embarrassment of DEI investments blowing up in their face. Thanks, Concord. That's not one of theirs, but it's in the sphere of the shit that they do. And then, of course, the entire felting of the entire corporation because you pissed off the beautiful nation of the rising sun.
And we'll get to that in a bit.
More on that later, chat. Embarrassments, and again, of course, without being said, they not like me. They not like me. They not like me. They might be French, but they're not my French. My French puts Tony Shakers on its chicken.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to put 3 fingers up in the air and because our boy Baku is not here this week, unfortunately. He's looking after me, because unfortunately it seems that some men have decided to put him in a bind. So we will be here holding the binders. And in our binders, what's first on our docket, Horror?
Oh boy. What happened in the political sphere? Carl, we're not gonna but so, it's Jover.
It's Jover, chat.
It's Jover, guys.
4 years of Sleepy Joe at the wheel. 4 years of one bad night, guys. It's almost over. We don't know who's gonna do it. It's Trump. We don't know who's gonna do it. It's Trump. But, you know, they're fielding candidates in the field, and it seems it's put your ass in jail, Kamala. Camel.
Yep.
Camel horse. You're gonna eat a person. They're probably gonna try and push. There's actually been a couple of examples of this where actually, unironically, just as I was talking about Jay earlier before we went live, when I was showing her some shit that was on some of her videos, they were already pushing the Kamala Harris ads. And if they're doing that as preloads, the kind of preloads that go past your ad blocker, they are spending serious money.
Oh, yeah. That's putting it lightly.
A brief recap, if you've been under a rock, chat. You probably should have made room for Trump under that rock. That way he could have been able to save that chunk of his ear. Where's Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson when you need them? Fuck! Trump goes to rally. Tries to give rally speech. Someone, don't know who it was. Maybe it was Shinzo Abe from Past the Grave. Maybe he heard maybe a bitch heard a who, and somebody decided Dark Brandon needed to whisper in his earpiece. Something made Trump turn his head and avoid the $60 billion bullet. That somehow, as it misses Trump, snags a piece of his ear like it's Scary Movie 4, and nails a patriot, More on that in a second. Then, and only then, is it truly Jover. Really percolates the peanut, don't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's putting it lightly, honestly.
And then, after all that comes through, the clear part that makes it very clear that it's Jover, it was not just him finally doing his reconciliation that he will not be attempting to research Arthas. No, it was way earlier than that. This goes all the way back to the first debate, okay? Call Trump whatever you want. He can get through a sentence, whereas Brandon doesn't even know what the fuck he's saying anymore. We know that it's cognitive decline. The clear difference between when he was signing on to the Super Predators bill in the 90s and how he was trying to nail Corn Pop to the wall for not nailing an imaginary woman he was accused of nailing tells us we know what Biden looks like when Biden is firing on all cylinders and when this motherfucker needs to go to the Jiffy Lube. Okay? Put Pop up in a home. Because what should have been very clear is it's only Jover because they can no longer hide the Shadow Hands. Master Hand and Crazy Hand been popping in this nigga for 4 years! And only because now he's completely shot himself. Literally. Are they stepping it down? And the replacement is going to be, I'm black, I'm a woman, I'm queer, and I put black men in jail to get free slave labor. What a fucking crock of shit. Now that we talked about that, eShop. Nintendo eShop.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So, there is a YouTuber by the name of Beat-em-Ups who basically, all he does is cover Nintendo content. Like, he goes into, like, all the games that are in there, even, like, the shovelware shit, and he covers and says, hey, this is what you should play, this is what you shouldn't play. Makes it easy on everybody, because the Nintendo eShop is notorious for being shit. And he points this all out in his video. He says, the user experience, the UI, the fucking algorithm in there is absolutely crap. And then he gets to the point where I was perking my ears up. There's no quality control. He said of 27 new games in the most recent posted games in the eShop, 5 of them were porn.
Wow.
And I think he said somewhere around 7 or 8 were all shovelware. If you don't know what shovelware is, it basically is a bunch of shit quality games packaged together for cheap. It's like the RPG Maker games on Steam. Those. Now here's the kicker. Oh, go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say some of those are okay sometimes, not all of them. You know, Ioni, but goddamn.
Most of them suck ass. But the kicker here, and let's go back to the hentai thing. Carl?
Yeah.
If you had a kid and you gave him your Switch, you would think that having a children's account would make all the porn stuff go away in the eShop, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. It doesn't. You still see them advertised in the fucking eShop. The only thing is that you can't open up the actual item or purchase it or see all the pictures that are associated with it. But why is it still there?
If the eShop is based on anything similar to what most of these shops have been based on, it's based on a type of subset of proprietary information that the item can't be turned off from advertisements outside of the accessible features put onto it. Similar to how a lot of things that still used to use Flash, like any advertisements for things for like Adventure Quest, are now proprietary to their launcher that specifically still runs off of Flash, despite Flash being dead. Now, that's retarded because the Switch is superpowered technology. How the fuck is that happening? Nintendo? Of all things? The makers of Mario? Certainly you motherfuckers know how to hide the Super Princess Peach mods from all the people who are trying to get the vibe sector. But, oh no. Oh no. At that rate, I expect there to be Peach porn on there at that rate. Because how the fuck you not catching the hentai games? You are literally Japan. How do you not know? Certainly, there must be more.
Oh man. But that's really the big crux of it, of this whole story, is Nintendo, a company that is supposed to be known mostly for children's games, cannot filter out adult content for children's profiles in the eShop.
The baffling part about that, honestly, when it comes down to it, we're not going to say that Japan are nice and clean and Christian-based, even though they do believe in Christian praise Jesus. We know that the developers, even when it comes to shit like Galgun Double Peace, or any kind of game in that ecchi variety, by all means, make it so that the kids' shops cannot even be able to find that section. If you want the advertisements, if you're telling me that the advertisements can't be hidden, put them in a section, hide them all behind a section that has to have either an age gate and or a lock gate where they have to prove that they are an adult by probably getting information from only the parent, probably in the form of the lazy ass passcode they put on everything ever since the Wii. And then hide all of those behind that wall there. If you can't turn them off, at least move where they're all found. But no, it's up there right next to the fucking summer sales. It's fucking ridiculous. Was there any more to the story?
No, that is pretty much it.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. And then, of course, next story. This one I actually saw a bit on, but I'm going to let you talk about it. AI trained on YouTube videos. Actually covering a very large subset of YouTubers.
Yeah. So if y'all didn't know, apparently, in the YouTube terms of service that you all agree to if you have a channel where you make content, apparently you are agreeing to allowing them to looking and utilizing your content for AI.
Crazy.
More specifically, your closed captions are being used to train AI. Which AI, you ask? Well, there are multiple. But the big one that everybody kind of found out about is one, I think it was called Urology EI or Pile. But apparently this particular software utilized by Tropic, NVIDIA, Apple, and Salesforce has scraped 173,536 videos from 48,000 channels in order to train their AI.
What I find very fun here on the clip, the pile includes a very small subset of YouTube subtitles. Jennifer Martinez, a spokesperson from Anthropic, said in a statement confirming use of the pile and Anthropic's generative AI assistant Claude. YouTube's terms cover direct use of its platform, which is distinct from the use of the pile dataset. On the point about potential violations of YouTube's terms of service, we'd have to refer you to the pile authors. Blase, 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 what that translates to, it's not that much content. It's only a small subset of some of the most famous content creators on the platform, like PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye, and, you know, just some never heard of before content creators. Violation of the rules. We're not YouTube. Fuck yourself. Oh, yes. Yes, sir. There's that corporate bullshit that I like.
Yup.
And pray tell, what did these content creators have to say about that, horror?
Oh, they're not happy about it. One in particular is Jacksepticeye. Yes, Jacksepticeye. They were also scraping from Mr. Beast and PewDiePie. PewDiePie! He says, this is so fucked. I had no idea my videos were being used like this. According to this article, hundreds of my videos were used to train AI.
Hundreds. The really crazy part about that is that when you think about how much you would actually have to scrape a content creator to justify making it, quote, worth it, you really have to think of that in terms of density, right? So, let's put out of our mind the concept of, what are you even worthy to scrape? That's not the problem. It doesn't matter if it's me, it doesn't matter if it's horror, it doesn't matter if it's Jacksepticeye, it doesn't matter if it's Markiplier, from Marky Moo to Jack to Yammy Mash, and then across the specter to Brittany Venti, Destiny, Evan Preach, Jay, Medicare, Mauler, the entirety of EFAP, Fringy, Rags, etc. Or even some of the worst people, Dark Viper AU, the Actman. The sheer problem is, that's intellectual property that you have to pay for. I would like to be paid for it. It's not even about the money. It's about the sheer fact that you're taking my likeness or you're taking my intellectual property and you're using it to improve a product that you are then using to make money off. You are effectively monetizing something that does not fucking belong to you. And because you're monetizing something that doesn't fucking belong to you, that falls under the same kind of rules that should be protected by the delusional... The delusional... that should be covered under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And if it's not covered by DMCA, they need to start drafting up rules for it to be. Because this violates several different parts of Safe Harbor. So the example that I put up there is effectively a good example of a reach around. They didn't have to follow the rules of the platform, because technically they're not people who are doing it as a part of the platform. So, what argument can you have about them doing it? If you didn't know about it, it's not a problem, right? Well, okay, now I know about it. So, can I get paid? No! We're a different platform and a different business entirety. We aren't subject to the rules of that platform. So we aren't subject to the kind of system that would exist with even my own shit from the second channel whenever I upload a VOD clip that also appeared as a part of a YouTube stream saying to me, hey, this person stole your shit. Hey, this person stole 87% of your shit. Hey, this person stole 31% of your shit, but then they directly ripped your video VOD in such a way to clip it disingenuously. How can I be able to pursue legal action against them, other than having to find out what is effectively being hidden inside of supposed proprietary data sets? And from this proprietary data set, as I queue it up for you, chat, what in the blistering blue fuck do they get off on doing this level of theft? What am I talking about? One might ask, as the fucking thing's fighting against me. Well, give you a copy example. Duplicate. Yes, duplicate. To give you a copy example, what I'm about to put on screen, by 50, what I'm about to put on screen is effectively an example of exactly what they wanted to put at the hands of their designers, in their infinite wisdom of what they wanted to steal. I'll quote Septic himself and show you some of these supposed data sets. Of course, collected by Horror on her research grind. Mm-hmm. So, from the screen cap, that should be good. From the screen cap, as I put this up here, you can see Jack's opinion. This is so fucked. I had no idea that my videos were being used like this. According to this, hundreds of my videos were being used to train AI. So out of that number that Horror just told you, 491 of Jacksepticeye's videos have been used, going as far back as 2015, from Powerful Experience, the Beginner's Guide video, or Jacksepticeye Animated, Use the Force, or the Jacksepticeye Power Hour, Merry Christmas 2017. You're taking these things from him, and on these data sets, from these content creators, you've got 3,900 videos coming from animation, from someone called, is that Princessy? Or Princesses? It's kind of a little hard to see. It's hard to tell.
It just says princess. That's all it is. It's just a word in princess.
I see. But you can see here, from channels that they're being ripped for, you've got a runaway AI generator, which is part of the notes, doing the same thing over thousands and thousands of videos. And of all those people that you have these being taken from, you've got Mr. Beast, 2 videos being taken for training. You've got Marcus Brownlee, having 7 videos taken. You've got Jack having 377, but this shows 491. You've got Pewds having 337 stolen. And you've got even things from material pushing conspiracy theories like Flat Earth being stolen. This, of course, having a tool created by Proof News to source an example of this. I cannot begin to imagine how you would even put together that class action. Because, of course, now you got to really think about, is this something that they want to go for? Because, of course, there's an element of this part of the story where there are some people, unfortunately, that'll look at this as a case of, well, should I fight against this? This kind of gets my buzz up, does it not? But no, this is just this is another case example of a tech company trying to make a bag and a buck off of other people's skin and hoping that nobody found out about it. And now that they found out, and now that you found out about it again, add another marker in the example of AI continuously pushing itself into contiguous places it does not deserve to be or belong. And the people who founded the companies that do it, effectively showing that they have no respect for the human quality. Transdimensional humanism at its best, where a machine can steal from a human because the machine is more valuable than the human element. It's disgusting to me. As a performer, as a creator, as a thinking man, it's disgusting to me. Because realistically, when they start generating content that can be above or at the level better than a human, it's still going to be complete. There's people who will say, well, we'll tell the difference. Can you? Some of you motherfuckers fall for fucking bait barns all the time. Some of you fall for accounts on Twitter that present shit to you that's stolen from other people, and you still support the shit, despite you knowing that it's stolen. I've said my best. I've said my best. I'm making myself angry now. What is next? What is next, dear sweet horror?
The tweet that I have for Greg Miller. Because I want everybody to see this.
X, I guess. Let me pull that.
Yeah.
Account Quiet Try. The Greg Miller clip. Sizing. Switching. Pushing. Push, 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 push. That song's stuck in my fucking head. And drag this down a little bit. And play.
What I do need is people to get their shit figured out and get Dragon Age Inquisition working on a Steam Deck. Tell all your PC friends about this, Greg.
Hey, PC friends who haven't been caught and put in jail yet for being pedophiles, I would really love it if you would help Andy by modding this. I know you love your mods. I know you. The developers, they had a vision and they made a game, but you say, fuck that. I'd like to put this cube in it that breaks everything. If you could help Dragon Age Inquisition get running before Chris Hansen and the FBI break down your door, that'd be great.
What I do need is people...
Where do we begin with that clip? There's so many things that I have to say personally, but let's start with the information from the story first. Let's start with the information from the story first. What did we just listen to, Horror?
This is apparently a clip of a very well-known, I guess, gaming journalist by the name of Greg Miller. I don't remember which game this was for.
Apparently Dragon Age Inquisition, I guess?
I don't know. But apparently they asked him a question about PC game mods, and he made that comment, and he's been getting flamed ever since.
Let's take another listen. Let's get some feelers on what we're witnessing here, chat. We're going full screen. We're going full screen. All right.
People to get their shit figured out and get Dragon Age Inquisition working on a Steam Deck.
So, Dragon Age Inquisition working on a Steam Deck.
Tell all your PC
Yeah.
friends about this, Greg.
Tell all your PC friends about it, Greg. Get him interested. Get him activated. Tell me what I need to know, villain character from the Fifth Element.
Hey, PC friends who haven't been caught and put in jail yet for being pedophiles, I would...
Where do I begin? Okay, so, Ars Technica writer, Mr. Pumpkin Fright, actively being caught as a pedophile, trying to grift the way that most of them do, attacking other people and then eventually having it discovered later. There's one. Kyle Carrazza just went to jail, but he's the animator. There are a couple of them that are homosexuals that have been caught being straight. Certainly couldn't be those. I honestly have no clue who he could be referring to. Maybe he's referring to content creators in general. I don't know what possessed them to say this series of words in that cadence, in that sequence, at that moment in time. But you know what I do know? I know that the cameraman was on deck. Watch that transition.
Hey, PC friends who haven't been caught and put in jail yet for being pedophiles, I would really love it if you would help Andy.
And he's staring at the camera, guys. Let's go back before he said it. Right? Look at the reaction of all three men listening to that word.
Who haven't been caught and put in jail yet for being pedophile.
Guy on the end has no reaction. Guy next to him in the white shirt, lightweight, no reaction. Guy on the other end, apparently he knows something he knows something we don't. He knows something we're gonna probably find out in a week, and it's gonna be funny as hell.
I would really love it if you would help Andy by modding this. I know you love your mods. I know you.
The push zoom is a paid actor.
The developers, they had a vision and they made a game, but you say, fuck that. I'd like to put this cube in it that breaks everything. If you could help Dragon Age Inquisition get running before Chris Hansen and the FBI break down your door, that'd be great.
What I do.
Another case example of why most people in games journalism need to, just lose your job. Just leave. Just go somewhere else. Find a day job. Start flipping some burgers. He'll be alright. Shinzo Abe's got me. I thought, no, ain't nobody else got me. I know Cat Chat got me. That's a wild statement. How did he not lose his job after that? Was that cut from a live stream?
Yes.
How did he not lose his job after this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh. Even with partial context, it's just... That's just... And from Arbiter, this is apparently strikingly better than the last stream, for the record. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Me neither.
It's from the experience of talking directly to or having to suffer through the stupidity of journalists. A lot of their friends are into some weird shit, which is why most of them end up becoming a part of the cottage industry. It acts as a way to protect themselves from other people. But for this one, Dragon Age Inquisition for the Steam Deck? Bit of a misnomer. You'd think that they would say they want Dragon Age the Veilguard, but then again, ain't nobody finna buy that game. So that's wild. That's wild. That's so wild. Yes, sir. Indeed. Moving on. Next story. Sketch. Sketch. The Sketch follow-up is a bit of a wild one, chat. Those of you who remember last week, we covered Sketch as a part of the podcast. That was the member phase that had his OnlyFans history revealed. Those of you who didn't get the grand gist, I'm going to give you the quick rundown. Sketch, member of FaZe, is outed as having been a gay content creator on OnlyFans and other adult websites prior to him popping off with the FaZe Clan brand. He was contemplating suicide. He did probably some of the funniest jokes I've seen and heard in years, with people having to confront allegations. Owned the allegations. Very clear was nervous, and yet did a routine that would be in tone with the kind of shit I'd expect from Sam Hyde or from a member of Second City, if not the Laugh Factory. he would never bomb with a routine like that. And yet, through his anxiety and his nervousness, he say, "Yep, I did that shit. I sucked that nigga dick or something. Love penis. I could have one right now. In fact, you don't even know what I'm sitting on, chat. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge." And then try to fucking bump and grind that one out. FaZe Banks tell him, "Motherfucker, come home. We are all missing you. I'm missing you. The homie's missing you. The black motherfucker who finna be on peak point on all the clips, because, oh boy, have the clips blown up since then, is going to be missing you. And we need you here. We don't need you here on the streets. In fact, I got a man for you. His name is Anubis. It's 12 inches long, bro. Come home." And he came home with a weird, with a picture that probably being placed on a FaZe Banks EDM cipher track. Honestly, probably a good wholesome end to a story, because we could have been reporting that Sketch killed himself. And he made it very clear. He was ready to pull the trigger on that. He would have ended himself over 2 years of his shit coming to light. But he didn't. And the updates effectively break down to, oh, the bomb didn't kill you? Let me try to ruin your career further. Basically. They pull up things. I can't spell the word sketch. They updated with a deranged follow-up. I will give you a little bit of a taste of it from Harmful Opinions. Potential friend of the channel.
He was in.
Get here to the thing, and we will dig into this right now. Now, an overview on this, revisiting the topic. I swear, if somebody were to try something like this with my friends, I'm pulling my Fed card. I'm gonna do it. I'm pulling my Fed card, and I'm gonna them for your house. It's not gonna be a swatting. I'm just gonna ask some questions. Okay, I'm just gonna ask some questions, and then potentially hit you with stalking charges. Because the amount of information that they gathered about him, and that they just released about him, I have theories. One working theory is that this is somebody who's jealous of him, that he worked with in the past. Another theory I have is that it's a girlfriend of one of the men that he did the work with, which is kind of the same as theory one, but it's a bit different. So basically, a female trying to see if they can be able to get the cancel generation to try and cancel him amongst the MLG crowd, which it did not work, because the most realist of real black friends basically said some of the most bombastic things and made sure so that the whites that were in the room with him that had a stumped face could tell him, "Hey, yo, bro, it ain't even that real. It ain't even that real." Because, for real, if I had to have a friend that had to reveal some kind of hidden gay truth about me, not like young motherfuckers I have to worry about that shit, because it wouldn't have to be one of my friends. It'd be my wife. I would want the nonchalant dreadhead, dead ass, to be the one to say it. Like, "Hey, yo, what you mean? You didn't know that Carl was hosting 36 chambers? But the chambers are the amount of dicks he's riding? Hey, yo, ain't about all this shit." You know, if what he got to do to be able to charge his batteries is fill them with Duracell, and, you know, that's what they just call him, the underside of money. Like, put him in a room with all these men, he come out leading the pack, covered in substances. He just keeps going and going and going and going and going. That's the sound it makes when he's fucking, and he's with him too. I can hear him past the door. I would prefer that guy do it. Because that one black guy, pretty much every clip of him, whether it be the unedited clips, the edited clip that I showed on the podcast, I'd prefer to have that guy. I'd prefer to have that friend. Because if I didn't have that friend, I don't know how else I'd fucking cover that story. Because I wouldn't trust what I'd do. In honesty, in truth, I wouldn't trust what I would do. I'd be concerned for my own sanity. Because that kind of a story, and he hasn't done anything, I don't know what the fuck to say to that. I wouldn't say I don't know who does that, but I do know who does that. People who don't get it. So, good on him for having a network of people that are willing to keep his head up. Now let's get in this clip.
Grace and sensitivity. What the Community tab poll. Who was behind Trump's assassination attempt? Was it lone wolf? Was it domestic intelligence, foreign intelligence, Democrats, or Republicans? Google pen name definition. It's a writer's alias. Now think. Why did we share random people's information? Why do we plan to keep doing it? How many people will we hurt following Sign's pocketbook?
Nope, buffering a little bit. And yes, I am getting this up to you.
What in the f am I reading? Look at these people. Dinesh D'Souza, Harvey Milk, Kirby Dick, Lorraine Graham, Michael Musto, Michael Petrelis, Michael Rogers.
Yep, buffering again. Also, while I'm looking through this buffering that's currently sticking on the video chat, let me know if the lag that usually permeates the chat
What big stories help them become famous in journalism, politics,
is affecting this a little bit too much.
Or helping pocketbooks succeed faster. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Your pocketbook too. You defend Sketch, then spew homophobia at me. You say sharing Sketch / Jamie's post is wrong, then dox me. You say suicide is serious, then tell me to end my life. You call me a clout chaser, then rush to make content about me. You say I want attention, but beg for me to notice your comments. You call me a nobody, but obsess over my every move. You demand apologies, then reject them. You tell me to delete my stuff, but can't leave on your own. I came with curiosity and objectivity. You replied with hate and self-righteousness. You and I. We are pocketbook.
I don't... What? Huh? Wait a second. No, let's leave that schizo post again. Look at yourself, your pocketbook too. You defend Sketch, then spew homophobia at me. Where's the homophobia? You say scaring Sketch / Jamie's post is wrong, then dox me. Here's my first problem, alright? And this is one of those horror is correct moments. When I use people's names, their first names, I don't do it as this user is using it to try and act as though they understand the secret life of some information. By the way, can you see what I'm streaming to you? Horror?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't say these names as a way to put my finger metaphorically on the camera and rub it in saying, I know who you are. I know what you do. I know where you are. If I really wanted to do that, I could do some illegal black hat shit like that. But I don't. Do you know why? One, that's a great way to go to jail. I'd like to live. I'd like to play video games. I can't do that getting bent over by my tumbo, okay? My ass is not made for prison it's not made for prison dick, okay? Can't handle it. Can't do it. I know my place. I'm gonna stay here in my chair. Okay? Okay. But I do it because there's a clear difference between the person and the persona. When it comes to people like FaZe Sketch or FaZe Banks, you don't need to know their real names. They are their handle. There's two kinds of content creators, okay? There are the people who need a handle because the person they are and the persona that they perceive, Guy Beams, Dr. Disrespect, are two kinda separate people. There's a bit of some industry kayfabe there, where when the outfit and the attitude and the recording light is on, that person is not there right now, or they are in the zone and they cannot break character for whatever reason. It's like Broadway musical situation. There are some, like myself, that I am my handle, but it's the difference between business and pleasure. Not everybody's going to fall cleanly into one of these delineated camps. It's a little bit more of a spectrum. For some people, they have the suggestion that you should make a handle that's close to your name, that incorporates a part of you, to make it seem more personable. And also, if you're not going to use your real name, to use something like that so that it's a more recognizable brand. You know? You can't necessarily... the fried chicanery with SinglePlayerCarl rolls off the tongue a lot better than the fried chicanery with horror and Mr. Random. Who's Mr. Random? It's Carl. But is Carl Mr. Random? No. Because who was he? A guy that was going through a dark place in his life. That was year 1 to year 5 Carl. Not a very rough time to be me. So, being more personable to yourself and giving yourself a handle to separate your personal from your private so that the business doesn't mix with the pleasure, should you not want it to, his choice. Him saying Sketch / Jamie implies that when you revealed this information, that you chose to dox about him, that you were revealing something that was necessary. What did you call it? The untold story of Sketch? I don't need it to be told! Did he sell it from his OnlyFans? No? Then you stole content, bitch, pay up! I'm being so deadass right now. You stole the motherfucking shit, and then said, I'm gonna show you what he's really about. I don't care! Just like Past Carl said last week. I don't care because it's not my business. Number one. Number two, spew homophobia at you. You say it's wrong and doubts you. Motherfucker, you nearly cost this man his life! But anonymity is what you're worried about. Okay. Alright, let's play that game. Let's go down the line here. Suicide is serious. Tell you to end your life. I think trading a life for his life is fair. I'm not Captain America. I will trade your life for his life. He at least entertains people. What did you do? What are you known for? What do you get up to? Apparently not much, if not a cult. Water is delicious. You call me a clout chaser, then rush to make content about me. What did you do? Did you rush to make content about somebody and then nearly cost him his life? You say I want attention, but beg for me to notice your comments. I don't think that's what that is. That's like a little-known fox going to his comment section knowing he made a stinker of a shitter and saying, oh, y'all motherfuckers finna light up my comments for this one, but I don't care. Motherfucker, why are you waiting for us? It's not an airport. You don't need to announce your departures and arrivals. This next one's a little bit heinous. You call me a nobody, and then obsess over my every move. You tried to out information from anonymity, and you do not respect clear point of privacy. And now you're flippant about your actions. In the worldview of the Book of Galatians, 1775, passage 12, book 2. If you want to run up, you can get done up. Period. On God. If you run up, you can in fact get done up. You did some shit. You wanted to run away from the accountability. You're being held to accountability like a homie that's being stoked with a fat girl. But unfortunately, it's one that does not bathe, and when she laughs, she cackles. And so, while we walk into the sunset with Sasha, Miranda, and Amanda, you're stuck back there with Olga. Saying, hey, yo, what did I do to deserve this? What did you do to not deserve it? How did you end up where you are? I rest my case in that regard. Because when you say that, and then say you demand apologies, then reject them, okay, here's a question. Did you reveal your identity on tape and say, I, so-and-so, apologize for ruining and potentially costing the life of Jamie, and I apologize for revealing information that I both should not have stolen and then revealed to try to jeopardize his livelihood and his existence, all for clout and attention of exposing one of the greats? No? Then you ain't got shit to say. You're lucky that people aren't hunting you down in the street, because that's what people would do if they wanted to be real niggas about it. And I'm being so dead-assed about it. I'm being so dead-assed, because that's technically what would happen if you did this. This is a form of cyberstalking. You're now in federal territory. And boy, I love me people putting themselves on the fucking chopper for the powder in the poop of prison, because they take all comers. They take men, they take women, they take transgenders. They are very much gender neutral about prison, because everybody's gender neutral about that assault. By all means, you can come get some assault too. They got enough for everybody. There is an angry gangster or a very, very manipulative lesbian ready to beat your ass for you. They are ready and waiting for your call. So finally, when you say, delete my stuff, but you can't leave on your own, you've been caught. Leave the internet. Delete everything you did. Disappear. That would be your apology. Because for you to say, you and I, we are Pocketbook, I came with curiosity and objectivity. You replied with hate and self-righteousness. Give me a fucking break. Fuck you and the picture of the cathedral that you are putting it in front of. Hell no. Horde, do you have an opinion?
all of this is fucked up, and I kind of tuned out because I'm having a fun little. This is the consequences of my own actions moment.
I hope it's not something too bad.
So complete off the rails what we're talking about. So it's been established I'm a chocoholic, right?
True.
It's like my favorite thing on the planet is chocolate. And I've gotten into eating M&Ms lately because I was eating a trail mix that had M&Ms in it, and I'm like, yummy. I want some. I'm craving. So I bought a couple boxes of M&Ms. Mm-hmm. One of them was totally fine. Mm-hmm. And then I opened up this one beginning of the show and started eating them, not looking at them. And then I looked down, and they're discolored. And some of it looks, I wasn't sure if it was melted or not. I think it is because the inside of the box has like some of the color on it from the M&Ms. And I'm like, did I just eat mold? Am I gonna die? So I'm over here trying not to hyperventilate because my phobia is vomiting. So yeah, I've been over here trying not to freak out.
Would you like the good news? There's good news and there's great news.
Huh.
The good news is your body will handle it. If it tries to make you vomit, just make sure you don't swallow.
Oh, I usually don't.
Honestly, that could go either way, chat. But let's not have dirty minds on that. But a ching. The great news is that even if you ate mold, more than likely, your stomach bacteria is going to handle it before it does too much to you, unless it is a certain kind of mold. The kind of mold that grows on chocolate, unless it's a different kind of mold than what usually happens, it's the kind that, at best, it would give you upset stomach and cramps.
Yeah.
So, I would say, drink some water. And
I am.
Yeah, give yourself a 10 count. If you feel like you need to brush your teeth, do so. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, even with Horror's present condition, my ultimate takeaway here, the TLDR, for those of you who's like, Carl, I don't really get what you're saying. I need you guys to understand, and I'm, again, being for real, this person nearly cost a man his life. So all of the shit that he's saying here, and then putting up the picture of what I can only assume is a Eastern design, if this isn't a Western design church with stained glass, it's sanctimonious. I don't care. What have you done that it makes up for you nearly costing someone's life, right? This is not like money lost in the business venture. This is not you fucked up somebody's birthday or some special event for someone. You nearly cost somebody their son. You cost a wife, partner, or romantic partner investment, their immediate romantic partner. You almost cost the FaZe clan a serious asset to everything, and you nearly hurt the internet with a really, really disgusting reveal that was never your place and never your business to tell. Because it wasn't your business, it wasn't your story to tell. If he wanted to come through about it, if 2 years, if a month, if a day extra down the line from this story is broken, that sketch that said, I can't take it anymore, I gotta tell somebody, I used to ride it like a pony, then that's on him. But it's not your job to do this. And then, the way you're behaving here when you say it, no shame, alright, throw the book. Get him off here. Because if this is YouTube, I have to assume this is YouTube in the community tab, ban his account. This person has clearly violated both the law and clear points of YouTube's harassment policy. Get him off the platform. Why is he still here for this to even be covered?
Objectivity. You reply with hate and self-righteousness. You and I. We are pocketbook. Sketch, I'm thankful you're still with us.
Schizophrenia hours, man.
Jesus Christ.
True. Next one here. We knew the world would not be the same. A few people laughed and a few people cried. Most people were silent. I remember the line from the Hindu scripture, that's a word. Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty and impress him to take on his multi-armed form and say, I am to become death, destroyer of words. Suppose we all thought that one way or another. Robert J. Oppenheimer, visuals, the way I see myself, Luca Ponsato. What is any of this poetic shit? have to do with you making up the sketch.
Forgot to take his meds.
And then, of course, video, get radicalized with me on Trump's internet.
None of it matters. None of it matters. None of it matters.
And then Sneeko. That's wonderful. Just greatest shit to have.
Wonderful visual.
And apparently,
Pretty much it from
some light stalking, some light.
Yeah.
Damn it! I wasn't able to destroy him completely. You know, the usual.
Yep.
The usual chat. Disgusting.
So-
Makes me bad.
Do you want to go from some disgusting malicious shit in our rapid fire round, which is what we're doing, to some just really stupid fuck around and find out shit.
Boy, do I!
So I don't know if y'all are aware, but Destiny is a dad. The political streamer Destiny, the one that's been causing a lot of problems as of late.
Yes.
He is a dad. And his son is old enough to stream on Twitch.
He was.
He was a sticky word, and we'll tell you why in a second. So he decided on the 19th to do a stream called Chill Stream Destiny Execution Soon. That title alone is foreboding. Now, Carl, can you pull up this Twitter video for me and show the audience?
Why, of course I
And they
can.
can tell me what's wrong with this picture.
Why, of course I can.
Why, certainly.
So the first thing you have here. This is actually the first time I've ever seen the eponymous Nathan. Okay? Now, I understand, chat. Take a moment. Yes. A woman did let them carry his seed to term. But Nathan, the sin is the sex, not the life. First time I've ever seen Nathan.
Blow that shit way up.
Destiny.
They need to see what's in that corner.
Yeah.
What has he got in his hand, audience? What be that? What be that in his hands? It's not the whole world, I'll tell you that.
It is in fact not the whole world, chat. It is in fact not the whole world. Of course, before anybody says anything, disavow, this is literally just a toy. However, considering the history of gun violence on Twitch, I honestly would not have been shocked if it was the real thing.
Yeah, you could tell it's fake because of the orange tip on the inside. Yeah, but still, go ahead and play this, and let's let everybody see why this was a problem.
Destiny is so cooked.
What's wrong with this picture, chat? I'll wait.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun, 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 dun. Kid literally pulls out a toy gun. I'm assuming it's probably airsoft.
Yeah.
Loads it up, makes sure it's loaded, walks outside, and on camera uses it on his dad. And how do you think Twitch handled that? Well, I'll tell you. Hello, Nathaniel the Memer. Twitch is committed to keeping our community safe for everyone, and as a part of that, we require all users to ensure that anything shared on their account abides by Twitch's terms of service and community guidelines. Based on the review of your activity or content, we have issued a global suspension on your account. Due to the severe nature of the violation or the fact that you've incurred multiple violations, your access to Twitch services is indefinitely restricted. Reason: serious violent threats, making violent threats that may result in serious physical harm towards another person. Indefinite suspension. Bye-bye. You done, son. You done.
Now, I have some obvious reactions to this. I have 3 of them. The first reaction. What Father of the Year award? Am I right, guys?
Yep.
Second problem. We probably could find it, but I'm not interested in having a fucking fight with a YouTube agent, so I'm not going to show it. I could probably go on to Twitch right now, and I could go find 17 Twitch thoughts that are popping it on the camera for subs. But they are worried about an airsoft gun. Now, I'm not minimizing what he did. This is clearly a problem, because the culture of it makes it seem like you should allow it. Carl, what are you saying? It's clearly just a joke. That's not the problem. I've seen everything from a dumbass who lost everything because he executed his G Fuel, but made sure to hit the fucking pogger's face, to active attempts, because this was kick things, but different website, but same streamer culture, to people driving dangerously in traffic, people flashing around guns, obviously Zerka and all of their fucking retardation from the other show, shoutouts to past Carl and Horror. And the thing that occurs to me is the sheer and clear nature. Because remember, Destiny himself is still permabanned on Twitch, and he has been trying to petition it. You can only be able to petition to get an unban from a global ban every 6 months. So, Nathaniel's not completely cooked. He should be, but he's not completely cooked if he really wanted to be something about it. You know, you hit his best cry face. Yeah, you know, a whole rigmarole. But of course, the nature of this is the third problem. And the third problem is the nature of I'm gonna joke about executing my father on camera, and I will behave like this because ... And the ... is the problem that I have a problem with. Right? Now, Destiny aside, again, first time I've seen Nathaniel. Why are you doing any of this? Who told you to do that? Was it your mother? Probably not, because I've heard so much about you and heard so much about your dad, but I've never heard about your mom. Only that your parents are divorced.
I've heard. Go over that.
Second thing. Should you have done this off of the suggestion of what I can only assume is your dad? Because that's not the reaction of a father that first is wondering what the fuck is happening to me. And then also, secondly, the reaction of someone who's probably in on the joke, and it's like, ah, fuck, that actually hurt! Did Steven tell you to do that for clicks and content? If so, again, Father of the Year, you have potentially fucked up your son's potential, a potential revenue source that your son could have had for years on end. He's your son, after all. He's attached to you, and because he's attached to you, his mere existence with you is like that one daughter who now, after the time of basically embarrassing her father multiple times on the internet, is being cut out of his will. The TikTok girl who was doing shit for clout on camera. A story I don't believe we covered. But the long and short of it is basically the TLDR of a girl that was telling lies about her dad, and her dad was forced to make content about his own daughter, talking shit about him. Some of the craziest shit I've seen. But, you know, this is on the element of that, too. Because it's on the element of something actually approaching someone he's criticized before, which is Ben and Grace Thorpe. The Bonells! Honestly. You got your son Nathan doing cringe humor shit. Granted, I say it's cringe because we know your father's edgy, we know your father's a memer, we know he's disrespectful towards things that have to do with other people's sensibilities and bombastic levels of audacity. You don't have to be like your dad. You could honestly be like the orbiter that your dad works with, which is Kyla. Not so erudite. You could have a smart head on you. After all, you're smart enough to have known that was something for you to do anyways, but that's definitely not the avenue for you to have done it. And of course, you're just adding to the culture of doing anything for clout. Don't do that. Be better than your dad. Out-mog your dad. Out-compete your dad. But don't do it that way. Those are my opinions. Is the suspension deserved? Well, last opinion. Is the suspension deserved? Should he get an indefinite ban for that? Probably not. I'd give him a ban for like a year. He's not gonna... What is he gonna do? He can always go to YouTube. He could go to Kick. He can get a deal on Odyssey, get a deal on Rumble. He's not fucked out of opportunities. Twitch is not the end-all be-all. But, you know, better to have access to it than to not have access to it. I don't know why you would do that, but, you know, it's whatever. Pass it back to you, Horror.
Okay. So, there was something else that Destiny did that was interesting that we found. Other than him burning so many bridges because he's got so many wonderful takes about the assassination attempt on former and possibly future President Donald J. Trump. Who did he piss off this time, Carl? Well, who didn't he piss off is really the question, but there was one in particular that you pointed out.
Oh, let's see here. Destiny went on to several different streams to piss off people. This was directly after his appearance on Lolcow Live, from his own Bridges podcast and his own live stream with Dan and XQC. He then went on to get on to Piers Morgan. And ironically enough, in a rare British global media W, got completely fucking felted by Piers Morgan. In the typical British Mogman style. Assaulted him on a question, and he could not answer the question. Got his shit pushed the fuck in. Then came back from that, and then went on a 40, 50-something man Twitter space that was covered by Kyla, not so erudite, and kept making never-ending jokes about conservatives, about supposed maggots spelled M-A-G-A-T. You know, they're finding ways to try and make you sound even cooler, guys. From the corpse of Sleepy Joe rises the maggots of Trump. I'm out. And then got himself fucked and cucked, and by that I mean he got his monetization. I think it's probably not that he said it, because what the owner of, obviously, the best social media website that's supposed to already have been dead 2 years running now, Elon Musk said, was he was asked a question by multiple people that he was sensationalizing about his comments concerning the firefighter that he was mocking the death of, that he's been doing for about a week and a half now, and whether or not this is behavior that she should be allowed to do on the platform. You had people like Nina Infinity of the Phantom Menace being there. You had a bunch of fucking blue check marks that were journalists in their field. Some left, some political, some far left and rad left. Some anarcho-communists, some anarcho-primitivists. All basically pushing as an opportunity to see Destiny be platformed, and Destiny reacting to it in the sense of, what? I thought you did America. I thought you did America. I thought we got jokes here. Where's my free speech, bro? Where's my free speech, bro? And outside of pissing off even his own side, basically making a run in the middle of pissing off every single person on the internet and burning the bridges with them, because, listen, bro, I have to be allowed to make fun of the trumpets. I have to make another joke name that they keep giving you guys. Honestly, making it sound like Trump literally is breaking the seventh seal. Mocking the trumpets, as he called them, and mocking the insurrectionists, because it is not, how did he phrase this? The fact that I breathe the air with you people is fucking disgusting. The way that you think that you can say the calm rhetoric in a nice, even tone and believe that it's acceptable is fucking abhorrent. Ironically enough, something I was actually talking to Jay about before she had to go into the wild blue yonder, into the outside world. The outside girl having to go outside against her will to find food. We actually discussed the fact that he had had Abba Atlas of Abba and Preach actually I don't know if he did it because he felt he had to, or he did it because he was asked to, but Abba, of all people, making an events video on his behalf, inciting that actually, even though I might disagree with it, the American politics as you people have them, because remember, Abba is a Canadian. The political spiel and the political diatribe has gotten so radically incensed over the years that I can believe he has been pushed to this level and that it's justified in doing so. Which I think is probably one of the most batshit takes I've ever heard out of Abba Atlas of Abba and Preach. But, you know, Eric didn't really have much of an opinion. He was just really there in the corner, kind of co-signing, but not really, particularly. it's not abnormal to hear Abba do things like that and cover things in that nature and have videos of himself that he cuts, because Abba it was at least real when he said, I don't give a fuck if people leave, if they don't want to fuck with me because I tell people truths that they don't want to hear and they don't like me not being a clown of digital industry, fuck them. While I can agree with the energy, I certainly do not agree with the message. And unless there's somebody I missed, I'm pretty sure that's the majority of who he pissed off. So basically the entire internet. And then he went, and then the wild part was going back to business. Like, he didn't just do all that shit. Like, next week, literally the beginning of this week and throughout this week, just pretending like he did not do the shit that he did, which to me is the wildest fucking turn. Yeah. Internet's a wild place. Internet's a wild place. But anywho, was there anything else you wanted me to cover about that story? Was that satisfactory for you?
Yee. Now it's time for the Ubisoft. What are they getting felted with today? Or what aren't they getting felted with today, Carl?
Well, chat, go ahead and smoke them you got them and light your Ubi-Doobie-Doos, because Ubisoft has decided to go soft in the head and the heart, and eventually the pocketbook, Lord willing. Allow me to tell you some dumb shit that they decided to pursue with the retardation that they had about trying to tell you why you should actually like the stand-in for a historic black figure being a gay samurai that has to fight to the beat of hip-hop music. It is very serious and very important that every single time this black man is on the screen, he spews the attitude of SJW propaganda and tells you that things is justice when he does justice the correct way, ironically to the same tune of critical race theory. Alright, so the general overview. Basically, those of you who have never heard this story, didn't see anything about this story, but that's crazy if you did, because if you were here on my channel, you know this was actually a part of some criticism concerning Game Summerfest and the Ubisoft Forward presentation on, I think it was day 5 or day 4. It was the shortest and yet not really the best presentation of all of the streams. Again, they got dog washed by the Mexicans, but it's not about them right now. What they had at Ubisoft Forward was reveals for Star Wars and reveals for Assassin's Creed. And this was when we first got our taste of this, because it's when we first got the gameplay trailers. Now, the general overview of the story itself. Ubisoft wanted to make their first Japanese history game in the series of Assassin's Creed. First time I ever tried doing it. They decided to push the angle of we're not real history, so that they could try to confirm Yasuke as a samurai off of the back of one Nihon scholar by the name of, pull it up, right here, Thomas Lockley of Nihon University. Literal made up work. He has been disaffirmed. All of his work has been shown to be a sham. But at the time, they were pushing us really hard. Get it up on the screen for you. Put it up on the screen so you know it's real. Wrong one. Correct one. And we'll try that again. Correct one this time. Effectively, this scholar, by the name of Thomas Lockley, wrote Yasuke books that are pure fucking fiction. Things that would obviously get revealed by history buffs in the Japanese history sector of intelligentsia. Started digging into the fact that there were sheer errors about facts of him that he reported as true and said were true as a part of his reporting. On top of these things coming out, and all of it beginning to break in real time as a literal fan fiction, what goes alongside this information is that ultimately all of the things around the game, just even if you knew nothing about that, the general aesthetics were bad, the dualized gameplay of physical brute versus actual Assassin's Creed gameplay is fucking dumb and pathetic, but you know, that's kind of been the thing they've been on since I would say Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla. even though Valhalla sold gangbusters. How dare you guys? If you bought that, shame on you. How dare you? Tried to confirm this off the back of his work, as well as multiple other games like Neo, giving him a pop culture reference. And they effectively tried to force this aesthetic and to force this writing. They had the chance to make a topical period piece game, and instead Niagarified his gameplay with backing EDM tracks. Not even joking, not even kidding. Backing EDM tracks that played when you were in combat with him. And then making him gay, queer, and a cruiser. Meaning he was a gay man that went around in the dark of the night having butt sex with men, as opposed to doing it loud and proud in an open air. In Edo period Japan. Road and Amanaya. Being acting as a vassal of the Lord, getting some vassals from other lords. Yes, indeed. To show you the comparison, I did prepare some clips. Of course, there's the clip heard around the world. Every single person saw this. If you saw any presentation, wrong one again. Any presentation from the lists of games presented at Summerfest. This is the infamous work in project clip of the gameplay of the Assassinate Fujioka mission from Corruption Reigns. Please listen to the beautiful, wonderful soundtrack that represents the culture of glorious Nippon.
Greed cannot rule this village. Not while I have breath in my lungs and a blade in my hand.
Listen to the beat drop, chat. Oh, what wonderful heritage. Doesn't it make you feel about the cherry blossoms? Which, by the way, cherry blossoms don't bloom at this time of year. Not during the time where they're harvesting the kind of fruit they have. Little things that they should know, considering they're telling a video game that's based in history and graphical fidelity and realism, chat. Let's back to the historical music.
You will have to spin it first.
They gonna make it out the prefecture with this one! Need I say more, chat? Honestly, I have to agree with Doc Locke. It's a little bit of a fucking parody. Now, maybe it's not all that bad, chat. Maybe we're just cope. Maybe it's Cap. Maybe it's cope. But I did prepare an extra clip for you to compare it to. This, of course, was in progress work, okay? We can't hold him accountable for that. That's alright, I've got another clip here. No worries. This one is from the trailer that was premiered later. This one is from the official world premiere trailer made 2 months ago. And I'm just going to go ahead and size this up. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the screen. And let's go ahead and scroll down to that light. Oh no.
Hey, Coral.
Yes.
Hey, Coral.
Yes.
I can't see it.
Hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. There you go. And let's go ahead and look at that like ratio. And oh no, chat. Oh no!
Fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked.
Certainly, chat, it can't really be that bad. What do all those? What does that 782k people know about this? Let's watch.
Who are you? Who do you serve?
All I have ever known in my life. Our land. Our customs. My family. Burns in the name of your...
Oh look, if they just shoved this might have been great.
I mean, I'm forgetting the actor's name, but not too bad. You got your fictional daughter and the feudal lord that she is the parentage of. Yeah, good old Nog. Love yourself some Nog.
my family.
Honestly, the mocap and how they used his face to get it across the line for both actors is really good. You know, he's already a part of the cast of the show Shogun. All he really had to do was that again. I mean, shit. This is shit that Showtime mastered. How many seasons of the Tudors?
There were 4, I think.
And then, of course, there was the Borgias. And Borgias, I'm trying to remember the top of my head, other ones. It's the only ones that come to mind, but, you know.
Get back to the point.
Anyways,
Get
back to the point. Not too bad. Certainly it doesn't get worse.
Right?
Burns in the name of unification.
You are still a frog in a well who knows nothing of the sea.
Man, you are still a frog in a well that knows nothing of the sea. Said the potentially fictional Black Samurai, telling a member of the indigenous tribe of that nation-state island how to feel about their culture. I don't think he's gonna make it out the prefecture with that one.
The ocean's filled with new ships, but they all come from the same river. Greed. Power. Vengeance.
Very interesting for you to say that, Yasuke. You guys do realize that until a certain time period in Japanese history, they were very much feudal imperialists. Why are you talking like you have turned into a net of Castlevania Nocturne? Why are you talking like a revolutionary? You are a samurai! Unless you're not a samurai in this game, but you're actually a ronin, meaning you don't serve anyone and you're a vagabond, which, you know, kind of destroys the entire illusion that you're trying to get across here. Ubisoft, by the way, you didn't know anything about that, chat. You shouldn't be talking like that. You know, it's just a trailer, chat. We don't know what it means. Let's watch some more.
And you... will you continue down that river? Or choose another path beyond what we see?
And we must look for it together.
In the butt of another man.
We must learn to trust, rebuild.
And follow the blade.
Like, only one person stopped and stared at him? Only one? And it was a kid? Really?
He gave her the knowing wink of the magical black samurai Negro. And she knew that everything would be daijobi. Now wait a minute, I don't remember there being electric guitars in feudal Japan. Even though this is electric pop from Japan, I don't remember there being the whispercore lounge jazz in feudal Japan. Stealth game. Brawn character, just bash the motherfuckers through the wall. You know, being a samurai does not mean you don't understand the power of a tactical advance. Also, it was remiss to not mention it, but having a strong, big, brawny black man as the dumb muscle. You are not beating the digital minstrelsy charges. I'm sorry to say, Ubisoft. I can't save you. From Khadijah Mabawe and FT Signifier will be making hit pieces on you on the hour!
I said, who do you serve? We are the shadows.
That served the light.
You know, nitpick.
The
but
gayest shit I've ever heard.
It is the gayest shit ever heard. But, you know, small nitpick. Why is the samurai saying that he is the shadow that serves, and then she reveals her hood with her fair, pale skin saying that serves light? She's the one wearing the fucking hood who has the actual Assassin's Creed gear as a kunoichi. That's female assassin, chat. Shouldn't it be reversed? Shouldn't she be saying we are the shadow and him saying the one who serves the light? You know, a little bit of contrast, just a little bit of writing chops, you know? Some inversions. I believe this is the first time this kind of gameplay duality has ever been done in the history of Assassin's Creed, you know?
Okay, so here's my thought process on what they should have done. It would have been great if they did the Mulan-esque style of having her as the main character. That would have been fucking cool. Because, like, that's one of the most badass Disney movies that's ever been made. And it's fucking cool. They'd gone that route like they were starting to at the beginning of that trailer, probably wouldn't be having the problems that they're having. But no, they couldn't do that.
It would have been interesting if they hadn't revealed the whole duality gameplay style, and instead they had made it clear that the two characters had to intercede at some point in the story. You know, make it a part of, her name is Naoe. Or Noe? Let's go with Naoe. That sounds about right. With Naoe's story, that she has to convince a samurai
it's Naoe.
Yeah, Naoe to convince Yasuke to abandon his supposed samurai code of honor and instead uphold a code of honor that would fall into the alignment of the Assassin's Order. Have no idea how the fuck this has to tie into anything with Abstergo, guys. I don't think they care about those kinds of things anymore. Yeah, you know, you pieces of Eden and all that shit. I don't think they care about none of that.
I have no idea.
Fuck if I could tell you.
I didn't even finish Valhalla, so.
But, you know, there's ways to have made this better. And, you know, for those of you in the chat who are doubting them, you can get it day 3 early with Ubisoft Plus. Pre-order now! Spend $216 on this potential piece of shit. But, you know, it's not all bad. There are some things there, you know, kind of considering it's just literally the Ghost of Tsushima. You know, it's really hard to make video games, guys. I promise. It's really hard to be original.
So hard.
It's so hard. But it's not their fault. It's just the industry. You know, they're not responsible for adding in the social justice iconography and the politics and the rhetoric. Constantly making articles talking about his homosexuality and shit like that, you know. But let's get to the real meat and potatoes of this story. Let's talk about the backlash. The backlash, chat. The backlash, the backlash, the backlash. From one of my favorite sites to source from. Should this be arcing on this bright screen? Yes, it is. From Bounding Into Comics. Backlash from Japanese players prompts national politician to investigate cultural theft of Assassin's Creed Shadows, written by Ryan Pearson, July 11th. Japanese politician investigating after players within his country leveled complaints of cultural theft against Ubisoft's upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows. The politician in question, Satoshi Hamada, a member of the House of Conciliators, the upper house of the Japanese National Diet. One of 2 members of the Independent Party to Protect the People from the NHK, a party whose platform is built on opposing the government's broadcasters' TV all but mandatory licensing fees. A little shout out from you from License Land. And also whose membership has fallen apart following a recent leadership dispute, Hamada has recently joined the ranks of many of the Japanese nationals that found themselves outraged at the number of historical inaccuracies presented in Ubisoft's upcoming game. On July 11th, Hamada retweeted a post from fellow Japanese ex-users summarizing the various issues local players had with Assassin's Creed Shadow's presentation, such as some of the buildings featuring Chinese instead of Japanese architecture, or how our lowly servant can be seen sitting on the same level as Oda Nobunaga himself, which is fucking proper. Alongside this retweet, the politician made a request for opinions to the general public as machine translated by DeepL, informing them, "We have received a consultation regarding the alteration of Japanese history by a French game company." Again, I disavow. "We share the consultation below with images. We also have a quoted post that points out the problem in the game in question. We would be happy to receive your comments and suggestions, including specific requests." Further, Hamada shared a list of relative concerns that have already been brought to his attention, which, in addition to the above points, also made note of the possibility that Yasuke's prominence in the plot could lead to the misconception that he had a bigger role in Japanese history than he actually did. Less than 24 hours later, he shared an update, writing, "Thank you for many of your comments about the new Assassin's Creed series of games set in Japan. In relation to the above, we received a consultation from another person about cultural theft and cultural innovation regarding Yasuke, the black man who served Nobunaga Oda. I will share the contents of the consultation with you." From there, Hamada proceeded to share 2 tweets with the images showing the feedback that he received from Japanese citizens regarding the game. Herein, one of the most common complaints was the perceived cultural theft of Yasuke, or perhaps it would be better to call it cultural invasion. I would use the word Western gaming imperialism, but you know, tomato, 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 tomato. To this end, some even brought up the ongoing war surrounding Yasuke's various Wikipedia, also known as cytogenesis pages, which continues to see various parties attempt to claim that the African visitor was a full and true samurai rather than the lesser but still respected retainer that he actually was. Because you gotta remember, chat, it might be true. It might be real. You might even have proof that shows it to the contrary. But is it worth your job? Yasuke was a samurai! One user even moaned, "I have been fighting as an ordinary person, but a situation has grown so large that it may become an international issue." Another user raised the topic of Nihon University College of Law in Tokyo Associate Professor Thomas Lockley's African Samurai, the true story of Yasuke, a legendary black warrior in feudal Japan. Jesus Christ, I can smell the fucking propaganda coming off of you. Itself the main source of Yasuke's false interpretation as a samurai, and accused its conclusion as being based on his own imagination. You heard that right, Chad. The fan fiction of a single guy, literally a Nihonji weeb, might be responsible for an international incident. Fucking crazy. Even those who generally approved
Insanity.
Truly. Even those who generally approved of diversity and inclusion initiatives found themselves unhappy with Ubisoft, with one individual telling Hamada, "The recent drastic movements are good in nature, but they are excessive in the emphasis on Asian people and unnatural favoritism for black people." Further complaints include Japanese own government, the Bureau of Justice being hijacked by a woman who is a poly-college activist, the game depicting a grisly beheading, and how the lies may become a fact outside of Japan. I mean, may become, already is, continues to grow. Some users compared it to the Comfort Women, which the Japanese government has apologized for on multiple occasions. One still praised how Assassin's Creed used to be a good game series that was historically accurate. To be truthful, not truly, not completely. There are things and places where it's obviously taken for liberty, but it used to be in the era of Assassin's Creed 1 to, I would say, Assassin's Creed 3, and maybe in parts that had to do with Watch Dogs, since it is a soft sequel in the same universe, taking place in the modern day. The fact that we went from what used to be a banger of a banger on a banger of a banger that produced a banger that extended the second sequel into 3 extra sequels is an embarrassment plight that tells you how far they've fallen. Now, some people might disagree. I am of an abstained position that that era is just like the era that you could get from Jak and Daxter, from Ratchet & Clank, from Sly Cooper, and from things like Shadow of the Colossus, Eco, and Dark Cloud 2. It is some of the best things that exist on the platform, and the fact that you've fallen so far, but you continue to be kept alive by those fumes, is the only reason it's even a news story. Because if it had fallen off, despite how many direct games, multiplayer-esque shits after the last one, I would say is the playable one, which is Black Flag, which might as well just be the pirate simulator, before everybody finally was able to scratch their itch with Sea of Thieves, really misses the mark. Moving on, though. Following his sharing of these responses, Hamada proceeded to provide even more insight to the public's opinion on the matter by retweeting several responses made to his X posts. AOI and Holly suggested, since it seems they are saying that it's a historical fact, we shouldn't make them clearly state that it's a fiction and admit that Ubisoft, is at fault for the content. In addition, the production company has refused to accept any protests, and the X account of the Japanese branch finally apologized for one clear copyright violation, which is ignored in the English version and elsewhere, likewise with criticizing from Kakusan1. The foreign media has also published articles defending the development and the ridiculing of the post, and we believe that these moves to denigrate Japan are as problematic as the game itself. P.S. In addition to more than another dozen other domestic and international works suspected of commercial copyright infringement, the theft of designs from national cultural properties was also pointed out, they've declared. This historical writing is spreading in the web space, and it's, pause for water, excuse me. Opponents are accused of racism. We would like to add that even without the Yasuke issue, this media art is very damaging to Japanese culture. As of writing, Hamada has yet to announce any formal action against those complaints, including whether or not he will bring up the topic of Assassin's Creed Shadows before the National Diet. Notably, this is not the first time the upcoming game has drawn the ire of Japanese locals. In the initial trailers, they used the flag of a historical reenactment group without their permission, mistake ultimately resulting in them pulling the design from the game, initially an official apology. Embarrassing. Further, a Japanese player stated a Change.org petition calling for the game's outright cancellation, which has gone over to receive over 80,000 signatures of this article's writing. It gives me a link, and it talks about that thing, and blah, 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 blah. But let's move on to the next piece. We then, of course, have coverage from the Manga Lawyer, which is an account of many, I would say, media watchdog accounts that like talking about culture war shit. This is, of course, where we got the talk from Mihoko Okada, the University of Tokyo professor, that's admitting that Thomas Lockley's books are fiction. And her then continuing to do damage control. I believe this is follow-up to this. Yes, it is. Continuing to do damage control by invoking freedom of speech about the opinions. Japanese people were shocked about the ideologues and pseudo-historians trying to change history, and this is just bigger than just a game. 3 of them, including David Atkinson, have connections to Goldman Sachs and third parties that have money to change the landscape when it comes to the coverage of this topic. It is an embarrassingly stupid amount of money that they have in this consideration, but it continues. We then have from Assassin's Creed, and then of course from the belligerence of one SinglePlayerCarl, something that we all recognize. Yes indeed, chat. The wall of text! Let's zoom in. Try to get this focused up. It's really shit. I gotta go to the other view. There we go. You can still see this, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. It is a, I believe, four-part
Yep.
piece. To our esteemed Japanese community, a message from the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. Firstly, we'd want to... I'll be serious. I'll read all of it. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks to all of your support for the Assassin's Creed series, which is now has its own history, which isn't accurate to history, spanning almost 20 years. Over this time, we have explored various settings during time periods and characters from assassins during the Third Crusade to a Viking in the Knights History England, and countless more. For many of our teams, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long cherished dream that you shat on. Since the announcements of AC Shadows, we have received many positive reactions, but also criticisms from you, our Japanese players. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for the historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We would like to address a few points to clarify our intentions and our creative decisions. I've noticed that that's not an actual apology.
Nope.
Overall authenticity efforts. Motherfuckers can't even be bothered to not write it like it's a fucking public notice for patch notes. We have put significant effort into reassuring our immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. However, our intention has never been to present any of our AC games, including AC Shadows, as factual representations of history or historical characters. Instead, we aim to
That's not what some of your guys said.
True. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn about the historical settings we get inspired by. That's some bullshit.
Pop out.
That is some bullshit. Assassin's Creed Shadows is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a comparing historical fiction set in feudal Japan, then that's not about representing and accurately showing history, now is it? Now, of course, you have to take some historical liberties. Sure, make a fictional plot using real details and try to paint those details around things that happen. Sieges, campaigns, wars, losses, victories, births, deaths, entire changes of a regime. But you don't have to make a black samurai, bro. Moving on. Our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians, sages, and internal teams at Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices. Despite these sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements of our promotional materials may have caused concern within the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. So why didn't you do that first? You had to wait till 3 out of 4 to apologize properly? Alright. All game footage presented so far is in development and the game will keep evolving until launch. It shouldn't, though. You should be almost done. If it's not finished cooking, why am I looking in the pot? The fuck? Based on the constructive criticism we have received, we will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. We also want to clarify that while we've been consulting with many people throughout the development process, they are in no way responsible for decisions that have been taken by the creative teams in the interest of gameplay and entertainment. Consequently, we respectfully request that any criticism not be directed at our collaborators, both internal and external. Please don't be mad at us. We know we made a historical fucky-wucky, a temporal oopsie-poopsie, but please don't get mad. We're just a lowly, big AAA development company with a head and offices inside of multiple countries. We're French people. Again, I disavow. We have a hard time learning about things. We are used to being victims in apologizing. Shall we? Creative liberties and historical inspirations. While we strive for authenticity in everything we do, AC Games are a work of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. From its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements to craft engaging and immersive experiences. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life. The unique and mysterious life of a black retainer made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story in the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. So it was never about Noe. It was always going to have some element of Yasuke. So from the start, you were going to bastardize it. I don't think you should have said that, bro. I think you should have put that one back in the notes app. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in AC Shadows, we understand that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative, and with our other lead, the Japanese shinobi Naoe, which is equally important in the game. No, she should be more important, actually. Because it's Assassin's Creed, not Samurai's Conviction! Which would actually be a pretty good way to have that side story that you really wanted to tell about about him. Assassin's Creed Shadows, A Samurai's Conviction, the story of Yasuke, Chapter 1 through 4, sold in pieces, over 5 months of content. I really shouldn't be giving you niggas ideas. You might actually steal my content. We have woven this character into our narrative, and with our other lead character, who is equally important in the game, our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts respectfully. While we understand that meeting everyone's expectations is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15th, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication, effort, and passion we have poured into it. Passion is not the word I would use for that. Passion is not the word I would use for that. Welcome, Fatal. Welcome, Struggler. Passion is not the fucking word I would use for that. No, Sir Dob. No, Sirree Bob. Absolutely not. But then, of course, because I'm ignorant, it's another one for the collection. Another one, chat. This one, we can go to the screen here. Don't have to click on this. Another one. We get one from Cyberpunk. We got one from Jedi Survivor. Get one from Overwatch 2. Get one from fucking Naughty Dog, Avengers. Naughty Dog again. Iron Theft Auto. They're all here. The gang's all here. Maybe you should stop trying to look for forgiveness and cook the fucking thing correctly the first time. Maybe? Why don't you save the black African for the lead of the African Assassin's Creed game? You know? A Kenyan could do. But of course, we would be remiss not to mention it is your weekly reminder Alyssa McConaughey exists. And she's very upset about the apology. Just maybe say your racist response to a video game is indicative of moral decay, get bent instead of this. The moral decay of Japanese citizens not wanting their history to be played with like it is a prop. Truly, honestly, the best reporting we've ever seen for Alyssa McConaughey. When's that fight happening? You gonna run them ones with Mara Jade and Varadark? Huh? Sign up for Hobby Punch? Nah, I get fucked. And of course, she was coping. This one, going to the super view. It took 6 minutes. Hey, the newest Assassin's Creed is a work-perfect recreation of present-day NYC in San Francisco. Just black humanoids murdering Asians for no real reasons except envy. You know, Alyssa, there is a reason that a lot of people called out the fact that Stop Asian Hate stopped being a thing people pushed after they realized a very teeny tiny, very important detail that nobody else wanted to admit. But, you know, the tag, along with the cheaters, is still there in Apex Legends. Maybe you want to consult them on that. Maybe you want to do your job instead of, you know, getting mad about people's reactions to things that you shouldn't be upset about. Because, you know, you're busy talking about how people should fight you. Physically. Literally. But moving on from her. The story would indeed continue to Grums, which I can do a quick overview of his tweets, because some of them are kind of important, I guess. I'm very much getting more and more poisoned on the cups to the point that I really would like to talk to him and sit down. Because the problem is that the more I see of Grums doing this grifter shit, the more annoyed I get. You need to be working on your video game before you talk about any of this news, honestly. But hey, he's got things. Japan is trashing Ubisoft in the replies. 9 million and counting. As some say in Japan, if Ubisoft really wanted to make Assassin's Creed Shadows fiction, why didn't they just use a fictional character and then make him Japanese? They didn't have to specifically make him called Yasuke, and they didn't have to fight so hard to try and get it across the line. You could have made anything. Anything. You could have made a gay twink from San Francisco whose name was Alejandro. He came from Spain, and as a Spaniard and one of the many Spaniard assassins that exist inside of Oda Nobunaga's order, he was responsible with directly teaching her the traditions of her own culture. You know, double down! Double down! Double down! Maybe play the soundtrack to the Road of El Dorado when you have him do that. Maybe have a little pet dog named Tuco. You know? Couldn't be any worse than Yasuke, honestly. Might even give the game a little bit of character. And then another one. Following the apology, lying IGN suddenly says there's no proof that Yasuke was a samurai after saying he was, and that anyone saying otherwise was a part of a hate group. IGN is now a part of a hate group, according to their own articles. And this, because it was archived, and this is good on him, he, unlike many people, have started to realize you need to actually archive the things you're going to accuse people of. Let's look at the picture. July 23, 2024. Due to a limited historical evidence, there is no conclusive proof as if Yasuke was a samurai, a retainer, or another role entirety. That hurt. Here, July 23, 2024. So, literally either in the same article or from another part of their reporting. Looks like another part of their reporting. While Guillemot didn't mention Assassin's Creed Shadows specifically, his comments following the backlash to the game's male protagonist, a samurai based on the historical black samurai Yasuke, with a blue link. So, they're probably contradicting themselves. That's my guess. Has to be. Let's read the rest of this article that's actually here. In addition to the apology regarding the marketing materials, the message also discusses Yasuke, one of the two protagonists. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadow, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. Blah 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 blah. While Yasuke is often presented as a samurai in popular media, both in Japan and beyond, his depiction in Shadows has given rise to the debate regarding his historical truth. The argument has lived side by side with criticism over Ubisoft's decision to feature a black man as a lead protagonist in a Japan-set Assassin's Creed game. A backlash that Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot alluded to while condemning malicious and personal online attacks. Is it malicious personal online attacks, or are you receiving criticism that's very, very, to put it mildly, colorful in their language? I think it's the second. Doesn't mean that they should do it, but I'm not going to say that they shouldn't feel a reason on why they should want to, in my opinion. And ironically enough, from Grok itself, this news story was popping so heavy that the website produced its own breakdown line of all the things that had to go into it, with it last being updated on July 23rd. It gives you a breakdown of everything from the top. There's Grums. There's Grums again. There's other people. There's other semi kind of sort of related stories. And there's a lot of the breakdowns and all the things that they came from. And of course, something that directly comes from this, ironically, Grums had his own breakdown of all the things that was happening. Won't read it. You can see it for yourself. It is live up on his account, of course. But there was a interview that was given to somebody by the name of Benoit. This is a familiar setting for gamers. You probably can't see this. Go back. There you go. It's a little bit still cut out, but I'll read it to you. This is a familiar setting for gamers. How does this game differentiate its take on the setting? Benoit. We're at the end of the Sengoku period. Sengoku is the Japanese word for warring states, in a turning point in Japan's history. AC is well known for its depiction of the history and accurate recreation of the world and what its players can expect from AC Shadows. We're showing real historical figures, such as Oda Nobunaga, and a lot of the events that happened during that time. So you're not only playing in feudal Japan, but learning about this fantastical time period. So, literally lying in an interview where they were asked about these questions, probably after all this broke down. The ship was breaking down in real time, chat. Forget the ship of Theseus. The ship of Ubisoft literally cannot hold itself together to tie a mast to shit. I believe that was second to last thing? Yep, exactly was the second to last thing. So, the breakdown, as we really get down to it, chat, goes a little something like this. Ubisoft makes an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan. They consult with historians, also known as Only Thomas Lockley, to make the game.
No. They consulted with somebody else.
They did.
There's a woman named Sachi Schmidt-Hori. Let me read this to you.
Go ahead.
I'm interested in literary and pictorial representations of gender, sexuality, class in pre-17th century Japan narratives, as well as analyzing the modern meta-narratives thereof. My first book, Tales of Idolizing Boils, Male Love in Medieval Japanese Narratives, is on medieval Chigo Monogatari, which often depict romantic relationships between Buddhist priests and adolescent boys.
Brown. 6 to 9 goddess. Damn, voice cut out there. 6 to 9 goddess.
Yep.
It's always the fucking scholars, and they're always into weird shit. But looking into historians to make it historically accurate makes a real historical figure in the main character in the series, which is the series first. Main character is the only African in Japan and goes around smashing heads off with a kanabo while the locals bow to him for the privilege. People point out the character in the setting is not historically accurate. Everybody who's been critical of it is called racist. Pro Ubisoft people claim all the backlash is 100% from non-Japanese people. The non-Japanese historical consultancy goes into hiding after it turns out he made up the whole Yasuke is a legendary samurai thing. Ubisoft claimed the game is historical fiction and never claimed to be accurate. Gets community noted in Nihongo. Community note gets flagged down. Pro Ubisoft people double down after calling everybody racist, including the Japanese. Pro Ubisoft people double down on the claims that nobody in Japan cares and that all the backlash is from non-Japanese people. And as I just read to you, chat, the Japanese people put it in their booty hole. Straight up. And the memes, of course, are immaculate. You know, got a little bit of them. Got one of them here. Try to size this up for you a little bit more. This is the Twitter crop. As you can see here, it is, got yourself a good case example of the kind of things that you can expect to see as gameplay in the game. No? Just incredibly good things. Incredibly good things.
Coral.
Yes.
Speed it up.
I know. All the cultural appropriation and racism against the Japanese people gets ignored throughout. It is a very annoying story to read in real time, but you know, it's satisfying to me because I love when AAA companies and indies and anybody who wants to be against the consumer lies to their face and gets absolutely crushed in the marketplace of ideas and money. Especially the money. I love that it's Ubisoft taking shit because I want to see what they do next year. I want to see what lie they tell next. It's honestly like a telenovela. Should they apologize? Absolutely they should. And they should apologize again for even trying to trick them into supporting the shit. They should apologize, they should try to rework the shit, and they should try to work things around. Because I'm certain when they say everything is still in development, that's a way for them to say, we're going to try and change some things. Kind of like they did back in the case of The Last of Us 2. Trying to change some story elements around to try and say, nuh-uh, the story's not that, the story's actually this, and then making it worse. I want to see them flail. I want to see arms, I want to see blood, I want to see somebody potentially get stepped down and or get fired. Exciting time. Exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have, Or?
Oh, the very last thing we have is a much longer follow-up to a story we had 2 weeks ago. Brad Taste. And this is what I called it. Brad Taste cucks harder. Why? Because he's done it again to an even worse degree. Remember how last time I brought up that he's been supportive of a particular friend of his named Rose Malay?
Yeah.
Well, he backtracked on that too. And it got worse. It got worse. On the 13th of July, he posted a community note and a Twitter post. Community note, or Twitter post says, "I'm sorry for platforming Rose Malay. I really wanted to believe this person could change. I saw my own mental disability in this person, but they have said some of the most awful and evil stuff I've ever heard and seen. There's no room to be promoting someone like that here. I did not know about the essay stuff. Shit. I just assumed it was in a big pile of stuff I ignored about this person at the first time I forgave them. Deep down, I didn't want to believe that what I was being told. I thought maybe if I promoted something productive they would change. Once I was made aware of everything she has done, I should have immediately taken down the post and made it clear how I feel about her actions. Instead, I attacked the people who were trying to help me and misrepresented my views." It's pretty much the same thing in the community post. He goes on to say that he's sorry to his community for being grossly negligent and self-destructive, and sorry about his audience who got dragged into it. It reflects poorly on him and the people around him. Of course, he's a fucking cuck. So, after this, he does a live stream, moping about the situation and sympathy baiting. And towards the end of it, he goes, I should just end this and refund you guys. I'm assuming he means memberships. But it gets worse. His girlfriend decides to pop on Reddit and get involved, and let me tell you, my husband will never be caught dead defending me on the internet. No, that's not happening. She goes, I see you guys just want to let anyone know who cares about Brad and this community know that I'm doing my best to support him behind the scenes. Some of you do seem to understand how hard this all must be emotionally to him, and I appreciate that because it really is not easy to be sensitive, well-meaning person. And there's no instructional manual for this shit. Lots of damned if you do, damned if you don't type situations. No, you just don't cuck, and you'll be fine. Please take it from me. Brad cares about you guys. No, he doesn't. And he's truly constantly growing and learning. No, he's not. One of the most pure-hearted people I've met. No, he's not. Who also sometimes shoots himself in the foot. Yeah, definitely. And completely misrepresents himself publicly. I don't think so. If you feel wronged by him currently because of his words, actions haven't aligned with with who you imagined he is, that's okay. You're allowed to feel that. I hope you get the resolution to those feelings that you're looking for. Sorry I hurt your feelings, but it's literally what that is. He is his own person who makes his own decisions, but I do know him better than anyone on this earth. We've been together for 5 years, and I believe in him wholeheartedly. And I really hope that counts for something. It doesn't. To be completely candid, as his partner, it's really hard to see you guys questioning if he's a good when I know that he is. But once again, there's no instruction manual for any of this. I am naturally a shy and anxious person, then why the fuck are you on here? I don't really like being perceived by a lot of people, then why the fuck are you on here? And I don't know when or if I should say anything, then why the fuck are you on here? Especially when I know it's going to get clipped and screenshotted, taken out of context, whether in good or bad faith, and possibly misunderstood, then why the fuck are you on here? And I never want to speak for Brad or share things that aren't mine to share, then why the fuck are you on here? So I feel I should at least say that Brad didn't ask me to post this, then why the fuck are you on here? I'm gonna keep saying it. I just genuinely care about you guys and want to maybe provide some reassurance that he's a good guy and he's got someone here for him. You shouldn't be on here. I'm sorry things have been so tumultuous here lately. Take a break, stay here if you want, reach out to friends, do what you need to do. Brad will be okay, I'll be okay, so will all of you. In the least parasocial way possible, love you guys.
You know, despite the amount of times I have constantly said it in exactly that order, do you know how weird it is to see a person that is exactly the kind of person I describe and I always predict exists, literally say, word for word, don't really like being perceived? The fear of deception, and then you do the stupidest thing any person could ever do. You, as the person who isn't making the content, decide to play mommy and daddy internet to them. Why? What possessed you to do this, Torpedo? This is a career-killing action!
Yep.
Holy fucking shit.
Yep. And it just gets worse. It just gets worse. His Reddit mods go fucking batshit over this. And they start posting in his Reddit thread, r/Brad Taste of Music. There are a bunch of reaction clips. There's a whole line of shit going on there. And then, even better, a fucking clip channel for them. For him, decides, I'm gonna take a break because of all this stuff. A clip channel for this guy takes a hiatus because of all the bullshit that's going on. This continues on to show that community members are canceling their memberships with screenshots. And then there's screenshots of messages in live chat. Here's one for example. This is him in his live stream saying, Twitter has destroyed my mental state and it's caused me to blame myself for so much shit that isn't my fault. It all is your fault. It's awful. I'm trying to just be a good person and speak my mind, but then that makes me the worst, most degenerate piece of scum on the planet. It's actually making me go insane. No, what you're saying is what you think everybody wants to hear. There's a difference. This eventually goes on to have Brad take down any promotion of Rose Malay and her contents with tweets. And he puts out a couple tweets saying that he's deleting it, saying, took down all the Rose stuff. It came from a good place, but it just isn't worth scarring my entire community, or scaring, I don't know. I seriously think this might be the most brain-rotted section of replies ever, who are all just proving my point. None of you can read or actually have a lick of nuance to anything. That's you talking. That's the mask slipping off. And because the mask slipped off, you had to try and delete it fast. But you didn't delete it fast enough. In response to this, that very night, Rose Malay posts her first of 2 videos addressing this situation. It's basically her saying that she feels she can't change because everybody continues to bring your past up. Your past is really shitty, girl. It's just how it is. And then she comments, the really big thing in there, she comments that the night before, Brad was totally okay with her. And then somehow the next morning, he's not. Someone's flipping on a dime. And that's not a good thing. So, the next day, Rose appears on the first Chud Logic stream covering these recent shit. She says some very interesting things, including that she and Brad had been friends since 2017, that Brad trashes his audience whenever there's a controversy behind the scenes. Refer back to that tweet that was deleted. Agrees that Brad shouldn't have placated his audience over the H3 photo. Says that she believes Brad is motivated by remaining profitable on YouTube and keeping his community alive. Says Brad knew about the shit that she was saying and lied about it when he said it was fine in private. And then goes on to say that this is so bad on his end that there is a dedicated Discord channel in his server specifically made to Dogpiler. And she only knows this because the mods had banned her because they hated her, and she made a sock account to get back in. There is a quote that she gives up for Brad that is very telling. She says that he said, quote, "I don't want to lose my community over this," end quote. She also reiterates, like in her video, that she'd talked to him privately the night before and that he was backing her up and taking her side. After she has another day to mull over this, she posts a second video. This one is a doozy, guys. Receipts galore. She starts it out with posting a ton of clips with him saying the N-word, dropping racial slurs, saying transphobic, anti-LGBTQIA stuff. Which this guy's supposed to be an ally. This guy's supposed to be all sunshine and rainbows. They never are. She shows his disavowal and denial tweets post, and then posts proof that it's a lie. The first being, there's a tweet from her on the 30th of December 2017, which corroborates how long they've known each other. He screenshots this. This quote tweet says, "Rape is okay as long as you don't get an STD." That's the tweet. It's rancid, and that's a tweet. He screenshots this, quote tweets it, "Yo Nate, you think you chill, you think you so great, just take a look at Rose and her comments on rape." Yeah. It gets worse. There's another one from the same day that says, "This is not including her insanely unethical comments on Hitler, gays, rape, trans, and literally anything with the no zone. She's a danger to me and a danger to others. If this does not stop, I will be looking into a restraining order, whether that entitles, that is all. Or whatever that entitles. I think he means entails. That is all." So he knows. He knows very well. She also goes in to show DMs. And these are from, well, the first set are from March 16th, 2023. And it says, from Brad, "Nah, just be you. I don't care what you post. No one is even that petty about me following you." That wasn't the case now, was it? Those people before were just really toxic about it. Rose, I appreciate that. I do post some wild shit though. I'm not gonna change who I am or anything, but I do agree that tweeting the way I do probably isn't super healthy, lol. Brad, nah, it isn't. But I'm constantly looking for attention with that post. I just do it in a more kosher way. Same shit, different coat of paint. Rose, I mean, fair. I'm better than I used to be, so that's cool. I feel like I'm maturing. It's just so easy to be riled up and inflammatory. I really do think Twitter brings the worst out of people. Yes, it does. But it's always cool when people realize that my shitty tweets don't define me and I'm actually a cool person when you get to know me. No. Brad, oh, absolutely. Twitter is horrible. And yeah, you were just voicing your opinion. And yeah, you're a cool person. It's why I'm over the whole tweet thing. It's the first set of things. It goes on from, I think it's the 11th of July this month, this year. Says, yeah, I mean, I've been afraid of people judging me, so I've been tucking my tail with talking about you. But I truly believe you. Rose, I completely understand. Thank you so much. I promise I won't disappoint you. All positive things moving forward. Brad, even if you disappoint me in the future, you're more than that. You should be allowed to make mistakes. I trust you. Rose, aw, thanks, Brad. That means so much to me. You have no idea. You know I've messed up in the past, but it just feels nice to know people, to have people who actually see me as a human being and not a caricature that people have created for me. There's another set that's from the 12th. It says, the first time I actually stand up for what I believe and essentially got voted off by my committee. It's so bad. Bunch of crying emojis from Rose. The internet is so bad. It is. And just so stupid. So he's disagreeing with everybody else. Let's backtrack a little bit more. Another set from the 15th of May this year. Deleted the post due to major backlash, but it still got the ball rolling. This, I'm assuming, is for something else. Probably his putting her up. Hopefully you get it. I do. Glad we're still cool, and sorry for the negative comments you got for posting it. Don't worry about me. Like, I'm happy as fuck for you and genuinely glad you did something non-controversial, and you're being praised for it. We popping champagne. And on the 16th of March, he says, I want you to know that you don't bother me. I actually appreciate you checking in on me. I'm glad we are on good terms now. Even though I look at your tweets and go, what the fuck is Rose on? I still see you as a friend, and I'm not going to throw that away.
This is a lot of defense.
That is what we call foreshadowing.
This is a lot of defense that he's running for. What are they fucking?
Yup. It gets worse. So these are screenshots of old, they're like, you know when you get an email when somebody sends you a message on Twitter?
Yeah.
These are those. Mm-hmm. She shows, the first thing, proof that he agrees with Summer for points. And the message says, not gonna lie, this is exactly what the fuck I was saying, but because I'm cis, I can't say it. I don't know what the post is. It's probably something that has to do with trans people. Because she's trans. Gross. She also shows proof that he hates his audience. On the 4th of April, 2023, he says, dude, these people are so fucking stupid. Oh my god. This was my... And then in May 5th, a month later, that was my fucking point, lol. I don't get it, but whatever, I'll just accept it and not care too deeply. You care way too much, brother. That's your problem. She then shows proof in the same manner of him bashing his Discord mods and community. So did someone else who was banned from my Discord for saying what I said? So whatever, lol. I avoid Discord for this reason. People don't know how to communicate normally. I avoid that Discord like it has rabies. Every time something bad happens in the community, I know where it came from. Freezing emoji. And this is a guy that loves his community, y'all. Loves his community. As you can probably guess, those toxic Discord people, yeah, they've turned on him completely. Yeah, they don't like him. They're trying to take away his Discord. Foreshadowing again. She shows more stuff about him being transphobic and racist, which, whatever, it's not the main thing that I care about. She shows some really sus tweets about Brad implying that he only cares about his image and making money. And then she goes into him letting the mask slip in some ways. Here's a comment on one of her Spotify albums. Holy shit, you should have seen the expression on my face when I saw this here on the website. I thought I would be an asshole for calling out this independent album while it was just a video on YouTube. Now I can say my opinion. I mean, looking at music and putting aside what I personally have worked on with Rose, this album definitely is not a sound I care for. Imagine this. Chainsmokers song writing with Daft Punk lyrics. I had to force myself to listen to this. It was not inspiring, nor something else, but you could tell that he's trashing her like crazy. Oh, and he goes on to talk about this on Twitter. Holy shit. I might actually be to blame for this. No joke, I just feel bad. To be honest, if you are able to destroy art just because people have a negative opinion on it, then clearly there's no depth to it. That was literally my issue in that first place. And that's in response to her going, what the fuck, bro? The mask is slipping. Red flags, neon lights flashing in front of you at the brightest of bright, saying, this guy's using you. This guy's a jackass. Run away, dumb fuck.
Story then develops extremely quickly because he then has a H3 appearance.
He does. He shows up on H3 and basically apologizes and grovels and says, I'm so sorry for responding the way I did. You're totally right. Blah, 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 blah. Sucking dick. Licking butthole. Nothing means anything. None of it means anything because he flip-flops so fucking often. This all culminates, and on the 17th, people noticing that Brad's videos, except for 2, were all deleted from his YouTube channel. Gone. Gone. Videos, live streams, gone. Just 2 videos remaining. And this sparks a huge debate on Twitter, on Reddit, on what exactly goes on. And the first thing that sparks the debate is a post on the Reddit thread that says, some actual context for what's happened. After the H3 fiasco, and after Brad promoting the content of a pro-rape freak whose name isn't important, and years of getting himself into drama after drama, true, Brad made a statement on Twitter that he'd take a much-needed break from social media. This immediately turned out to be a giant lie, as he would retract to being a guest on H3's podcast barely a day later. His mods and community finally got sick of his lying bullshit, so his mods all left him. They privated all of his videos, allegedly, locked him out of all his social media platforms, kicked him out from his now totally rebranded Discord server, and deleted his subreddit. So yeah, the Brad era has come to a close, and probably for the better.
I have multiple questions. Mods and editors? Mods and community?
Mods.
Okay.
Mods and community members, they're saying.
So, not paid employees of his.
Yes,
okay.
Apparently.
How did they get into your account?
I'm assuming that they've given him access.
Okay. So, you gave people on your payroll access to your account for them to then do this. That's a lot of trust that you trade. Okay. Some people think I'm going somewhere with this, and I am, but I'm not going where you think I'm going. There have been many times in my past, and sometimes still dealing with now, where there are people who accuse me of things that I'm not actually doing and that I'm not capable of because I'm not a sociopath. But one of these things is a very easy logic trap. I'm going to present this to you, Horror.
Okay.
Person, clearly a deranged, sociopathic user, uses people around him. What do you think sociopathic people like? It's a big C word. And no, it's not Country Matters.
I have no idea.
Control. They like control.
Okay. Yeah.
Why is a person who is so protective of his opinion, but occasionally lets his mask slip when his real opinions fly, why do people have access to his account? If I have to assume it's because they helped build up the brand that he had by being supposedly the community man that he wanted to present himself to be. Okay, so they got your YouTube account, but they might not have your social media platforms. Why do they have access to your social media platforms? All of them? How did they get the passwords on that? You handed them to do them too? You got them making posts for you on your behalf? That's an interesting statement to make. How much of your content is actually yours, and how much of it is the ideas that came from other people posting as you? Now, this is different than I do work, and Horror does work, and Baku does work. And in the past, when we had both Callum, under both of his monikers, both Paleoanglism and British Knight, doing work as an editor, and have Space Horster doing work as an editor, and any of the work that I've done with Jay collectively between both of our channels, on both of each other's videos, as a member of the 4-man Long Boys, being subjected to the horrors beyond our imagination by a woman who does not want us to have good nights of rest. This is a man effectively who's apparently been using people to make his career possible, and they collectively took advantage of power he gave them, like a man who thought the dog would never bite him. This says a lot about his psyche, right? I forget. There's an exact word to describe this. I forget exactly what it is. Somebody in chat probably remembers what it is. But he basically thought, oh yeah, I can abuse you and you're never going to say a single word back. You're going to take this hand to your face. You let me slap you around, you love it, don't you? Now, it's funny, because, he did it to himself. But this is a serious level of deranged behavior, right? So, okay, let's compare it. My headset's doing that thing again. It might be my fucking headsets. I might have to start raising money for a new headset.
Yeah.
Layers on. Illuminati. She knew she'd have to do some underhanded shit. So, she tried to restrain power where she could, and then lied about it to make it seem like, no, I wouldn't pay a federal agent to falsify the serving records on a person who I'm taking to court to try and get a default judgment. No! I tried to do everything I could for Oz Media. I loved him. I was just distraught and emotionally betrayed. Oh, could you accuse me of such an evil act? But here, in his case, it seems like, for Brad taste, he was the equivalent of a joke of the writing of a person who gives other people's Munchausen syndrome. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna abuse the shit out of my kid. I'm gonna make them think that they're a hypochondriac. I'm gonna make them hyperventilate, even though they are perfectly healthy, causing them such an extringent need and desire for love and praise, worse than Homelanders, that I have them wrapped around my finger and my music tastes in things like death grips. And then it all comes tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down, when they either collectively build a spine, or they realize, we could just fuck him in his ass with no lube. And then they grabbed both cheeks and said, come here, give me your butthole. And then, of course, the obvious one that for me seems more likely, kicking him out of a Discord. You could always make a Discord server. You could always make a new one. That's not hard, assuming that you made backups and you were prepared for it. But that's less destructive and more stupid than the deletion of your entire subreddit. Granted, I've floated the idea of whether or not I should make a subreddit for my audience, but I don't like the idea because realistically, I don't really need to have one. I'm not necessarily at the size where I'm big enough to need to have one yet. The Discord is literally all that we should have to use outside of Twitter posts and community posts on YouTube. But, all of those things all collectively happening at the same time because he gave them the power to do that. Bro, you're fucking stupid. You are a stupid evil man Evil man, but a stupid, evil man. What are you saying, Carl? Are you saying you would do better than him? No! I'm just commenting on what I'm saying. You're retarded. You're literally stupid. This is the equivalent of a fucking kidnapper giving his victim a gun, a fucking utility knife to cut her cords, and access to $100,000 worth of military equipment to blow his ass up. And all you really gotta do to access it is press a big giant button. And he walks out of the car to go grab some cigarettes and some smokes and some condoms to assault her, and he's thinking out loud publicly to the person who then calls the cops on him, so that halfway down the road when she eventually does hit that button after kicking him in the balls as he tries to reach over and just grab a sniff of that American prime. Assume what you think I'm talking about as you want, chat. That, haha, you're so weak and innocent and vulnerable. You never fight back. You never fight. Where'd you get that knife from? Stop out of the vehicle with your dick in its pants. Bro, come on. If it wasn't a news story, I would think, like, nah, that didn't actually happen, did it? But no, they did. Tell them the funny part. Tell them about what they did to the Discord.
Oh, it gets great. Chris the Narc, somebody I've communicated with before, a mutual of mine, post update to the Brad stuff. Some of his community members are saying someone went rogue, and this isn't accurate, but they did take control of the Discord and Reddit, but not his channel. The entire story is filled with fucking idiots, from Brad to his mods to the community members. Here's some snippets from the Discord. Somebody says, damn, so I've been spreading misinformation all day, so his mods didn't lock him out of his own social media platforms. Nah, they didn't do any of that. Yeah, I believe the only Brad Taste-related account any of the mods have control over is the Uncut channel. I certainly could have used that information earlier, because now there's multiple people online who think he trusted his mods and his login info and shit.
Okay,
None of the mods here...
You. He's not that stupid.
None of the mods here have contact with him. No one has ever controlled Brad. He does what he wants to do. Welp. I took part in accidentally spreading a false narrative, and it's taking off. Shrug. Worst fears confirmed. I put a comment on his wake-up video with that BS trying to give actual context for what the fuck happened to his channel. I edited a lot of it out. Whoops. There's another post that says, Brad's editor confirms that Brad privated the videos on his own accord, and the mods only took over his subreddit in Discord.
Still horrible, but still funny.
Yep. Here's the final post that goes into this, and that is on his, I'm assuming the Brad's server. It says, why is the server called Oxcord? What's going on? Following Brad's appearance on the H3H podcast, we as staff are no longer comfortable associating with Brad. The server is being rebranded into Oxcord, a server about music, our love of music, and other types of chat. If you were part of the server before, it will retain the same type of feel as before, but it will not be connected with Brad. More details about the controversies are below the image. The server is still in a transitional phase, so hold tight. We will be rebranding the server and renaming it Oxcord. There will be some time as we get it all set up, but we will ping you all when it's done. And then the last thing I have from the Discord server is somebody coming back and saying, I know we only left for a few days, but I'm happy to be back now that there's no association with Brad, and they censored the word Brad. Holy shit. I would love to be more active in this community from now on. And the death rattle is his Twitter going private.
Truly. They did it not, in fact, past the aux. Sweet chin music to his fucking career. The fun part there is the whole idea of the new mascot Oxy. That was cute. That was cute.
That was cute.
And the fucking Voldemorting as though, yes, it's finally good that he who shall not be passed is gone. His music was horrible.
Yep.
What a week. What a fucking week.
Indeed.
Well, are we sure that Destiny doesn't have a secret daughter that we don't know about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Certainly that'll come up with the rumors about him not Brittany Simon, the other one, Lauren Southern.
Lauren Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those guys hate each other now, which is hilarious.
I was there for when it happened. But you know, in her viewpoint, I believe he teed off against her about her husband. That was a whole drama when she was telling her truth about basically her Fed partner and how, granted, Fed of a different state, boys and girls, but basically when Lauren Southern finally got hers, both pregnancy, family, child, and husband, she basically had to, some of you may be aware, but I'll still recap it for those who probably are out of the know. She got married to a federal agent of the state, I believe it was of Australia, moved there with him. This was around the time that she and her other personal friend, who got married and had her own kid with another guy, I believe it was, her maiden name was Pettibone, Brittany Pettibone.
No idea.
Both her and her getting banned from Britain because of their political activities. You know, the whole bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Pausing for water. Excuse me again. Things started to go poorly because basically her political career was fucking up his political career, and eventually they just had to fucking call it kaput. Was a whole fucking thing that caused her pain and more dilapidation. From revealing that, she then revealed basically all the time that she had spent dealing with people through her political career. Not anything to do with people like, say, the Honey Badgers, but specifically people like Nikki the Knife and others like that. That basically she saw what would be the height of political scam going uncontested because people cared more about digging into her personal life than they did about the people that quite literally were just grabbing positions of power. Like Milo Yiannopoulos sidling up to Kanye, fucking Nikki the Knife sidling up to Kanye, but finally getting rejected because he's just not as popular as the gay twink, who's no longer a gay twink. And other such figures like Sneeko and whatnot, and just seeing all of these elements going unchecked that she felt a desire to get into. And then Destiny just went and go ahead and just put a big old brick of shit in her mouth. And both of them now hate each other because of that behavior. It was a bit of content, I think, about 2 months ago or so. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Kind of hard to tell. The timelines are blending together at this point. It might be that we're going to have a brain hemorrhage soon because our history can't deal with all this transistent timeline shit coming in from other realities. But the long and short, basically, is that all the things that have come to pass, quite literally, in some way, shape, or form, have been centered around orbiters that have either dealt with directly, commentated directly, or been criticized directly by Destiny, H3H3, or some other lefty political channel that believes in Voldemorting, which is what they do when they try to censor your name. Because it stops the algorithm from bringing it up whenever you search your name in Google, whenever you look up things for sites. It actually does pull it. And it's their way of being able to talk shit about you without them actually having to, you know, do the hard work of saying your actual name. But all in all, a story of content, a story of news, and it's all garbage. Garbage! Hopefully we'll have an update on the Ubisoft shit because Papa needs his content. But besides that, that's all we got for you niggas. I hope you motherfuckers enjoyed. And as for everyone else, and I don't know, I imagine that if you have heard none of that, please keep yourself abreast of the news. And if it is your first time here, I'm sorry that I popped your cherry with that entire bit with the kid in a cop car. But honestly, stories about guys like that kind of scare me because in an alternate dimension, that could have been me. Not fucking on kids. The whole, he doesn't trust anyone, but he has a tight grip fist on his career. I count my blessings every day when I think about how many times people are willing to put their faith and trust in me and that I keep making correct decisions. Nearly like the skin of my teeth in several situations, including one that I told you about before we went live. Skin of my teeth. I keep making the correct understandings. I keep making and noticing the correct things. I keep making the correct predictions. I keep making the correct decisions. And I think about things a lot. So I keep thinking, and then I come to the correct decision that if I had been more hasty, or if I had just been like, nah, it ain't a problem, I would be in a worse dire strait, and I'd have no one to blame but myself. I keep narrowly avoiding these things. So really, all I'm trying to say is thank you, Horror.
You're welcome.
And everybody else from chat thanks you too. And they thank both of us for the content that you've been served that will cause us maybe to have nightmares. Anywho, if you, like me, like to make sure that you support the channel with the kind of things that you like to see here, please consider becoming a follower of the channel. Consider becoming a sub to the channel. Consider giving a donation or gifting donations and memberships to those who have yet to be brought into the good graces of our Negrohood. Because it is indeed a good night to be a neighbor. Would you be my neighbor, chat? Would you be heirs? Could you be your brother's keeper? Could you be their father preacher? I hope you could. And we will see you tomorrow and later on this week because there is another 4. This is a 30 or 31 month. I forget. I think July is 31, right?
Yeah.
But for the rest of the month, more than likely, Raven's Watch, if we can get people together, and if we can't, once human. It is phase 4 on Monday, which would be where the content starts really heating up in that, and then we'll see what happens by week 5, since that content's in cycle. By the time we roll around again for that, we'll have more news for you here on the Fry Chicanery. And before we say anything else, before we leave out, chat, it is beautiful putting together the thing for you. It is actually something we look forward to doing, and we do every week to make sure we bring you news, even if it's some shit you ain't never heard about, because half the time, most of the fun comes from doing it like this. So from the bottom of our hearts here at the program, we just want to make sure that you are fine, fed, and inter-fucking-tained. Because that's all we're here to do. Put a smile on your face. So you ain't gotta ask these questions. Because we might not be victim blaming, but we are victim asking questions. Play us out, Jethro! Goodbye, everybody. I will see you in the funny papers. Sponsors for SinglePlayerCarl and Radio Tune are provided by BBC Migraine Powder, Jib and Toby's Ethnic Enrichment Playground, Cringe On Demand, Blockbuster Entertainment, Uncle Tony's Riot Seasoning, Smart Negro Brand Colonized and Sheets Dating App, Immemorial Malt Liquor, and PointDexter.com, and the generous donations and watch times from viewers and haters like you. Thank you! And if you'd like to support Carl, consider leaving a wonderful donation at Ko-fi.com, Subscribestar.com, YouTube.com, and Twitch.com/SinglePlayerCarl. Make sure to support your nigga today, or you hate black people.